Hey, I wanted to give this video a bit of context. In Service Autopilot Academy right now, we're running a 90-day challenge to see who can get themselves into the best shape. And a couple members were asking if I could show them what I'm eating for breakfast and how I make my shake that I've been drinking for probably 5 years. And I vary it up. And so that's what this is. It was simply a video I recorded for some members and sent it over to them, and I thought I'd share it with you.
Here's how I make my shake that I drink every day, and I have been for years. I do mix it up. I'm going to show you what I've been drinking here lately, and I'm going to include some recommendations. So what you're looking at is this morning when I made my shake, I took pictures of the process. It's quick and easy. This is a 32-ounce blender cup. I like this size because I'm used to drinking a shake every day, so I can consume a lot of vegetables in this cup, and I just fill it up with water. Others use almond milk or something else to thicken it. I use water. This is spinach. You could use spinach, lettuce, kale. You can use a mix. I've done all those things. I've varied it up. I usually do kale or spinach. Every once in a while I'll do something else. This is several big handfuls of spinach. I put it in the cup and I kind of push it down in there and I put more in. So that's a lot of spinach. You can kind of get a feel for it. Ease into it till you get used to it. The second ingredient I often use, again, I vary this up. The second ingredient I often use is sliced cucumber. Sometimes I put in a lot, sometimes I'm going to put a little bit. There's quite a bit in the cup. I could absolutely add even more. Now, this is a suggestion to get used to the process. I don't do this, but I had at one time. You can put one of these yogurts into your shake. It'll thicken it up and it will sweeten it up. For like, if you're trying to be perfect and super clean, you don't put this in there. But reality is, if this is a new thing for you, then you probably want your shake to be sweeter and tastier and thicker until your body gets used to it, until you get used to maybe consuming less sugar. So I suggest something like this, very low in calories, very low in fat, I do believe, and it'll allow you to thicken up the shake. But more than that, it makes it tastier. Blueberries. I use blueberries all the time. This is just an example. Blueberries will definitely add some cost to your shake, but I think they really sweeten it up. They make it much easier to drink, in my opinion. However, depending on what diet you're eating, you have to be careful with blueberries. For example, if you're doing slow carb or low carb or something of that sort, or just eating healthy, no problem. If you're doing keto, you really shouldn't do blueberries. So these are the two things that I'd recommend. I personally did not put either in my shake because I don't eat either one of these at this moment in time. I almost never eat the yogurt, but I use historically blueberries all the time. I'm just not eating that way right now. Then I put in hemp seed and flax seed or chia seeds. Now, depending again how you're eating, with this one, you've got to be somewhat careful because hemp seed has quite a bit of fat in it. And so if you're consuming a bunch of carbs and you're consuming sugar and now you're layering on top of that a bunch of fats, that's not going to probably get you to where you want to go. But if you're eating crazy low carbs and you're not eating sugar, then you need a lot more fats, which is what I'm doing. And so I need fat inside my shake. So I put both of these in the shake. 2 tablespoons of hemp and 1 tablespoon of the second one here on the left. This is not something normal. This morning I put some mint into my shake. So, if we have extra things that are leafy green, I might drop a little bit in there. In this case, I'm doing it mainly for flavor. Like, for example, yesterday I had parsley in my shake. Today I just grabbed some mint. I've grabbed basil before, things of that sort. In this case, the mint just flavors it up because I'm consuming mainly just vegetables. I would generally recommend this. So this is fresh ginger that you buy at the store. I use this almost every day in my shake. I just cut some up. You can see what's been cut to the left. I will drop that into the shake. So the ginger will really sweeten up the shake. Plus, it's good for you. It's really good for you. So if you're using yogurt and blueberries, you may not need this, but I'm using all vegetables. And I showed you my vegetable combination today. So I like ginger. And then finally, well, not finally, then I'm putting an avocado into mine. Again, I'm going to remind you An avocado has a lot of fat, much like the hemp seed has a lot of fat. So depending on the diet you're following, you might need to be careful here about putting too many fats into your shake or into your diet. And then finally, so basically I take all of that. So I threw by the way, I threw the avocado in here because I was bringing this to work. You'll notice it's still in its skin. I take it out before I drink it. I just threw it in my blender drink, screwed the lid on top of it, and threw it in my backpack and came to work this morning. I make this in a matter of minutes. And so don't blend up the skin of the avocado. That's not what I was doing. So I fill this up with a lot of water, and then I blend it. What I found using this particular protein powder, which is what I predominantly use, so these are the two protein powders you might consider that I just personally, that we like. There's others. There's even cleaner protein powders than this. So what I have to do is, because I put a lot of water in my blender, I blend it up. I have a blender at home and at work. I blend it up. I take the lid off. Then I put my protein powder in, put the cap back on, and blend it. With certain protein powders, it'll expand in the cup and it will cause you problems. With certain protein powders, you can dump the protein powder right in your shake in the morning. When you add water and blend it, it doesn't expand, doesn't cause you any problem. In this case, this protein powder does. So that's why I'm demonstrating this. I take that to work, and then at work, after I blend it, completely blend it up, then I add this and just blend for a second, and it mixes my protein powder into my shake. And sort of this was the finished result of what I took to work. So the takeaways here would be Google healthy shakes, but I mean, you're basically looking for anything that has quality leafy greens. I don't tend to do a lot of carrots, but they're okay because they have more sugar in them. Beets have more sugar, but beets are really good for you, so it just depends on your diet. There's different things that you can mix in here. Cucumber, I normally put celery in here, several stalks of celery. I just did not this morning because I didn't want to take the time to wash it. I had everything already pre-cut. So usually when I cut things up, I'll cut up several cucumbers, a bunch of celery, and anything else that I might be putting into my shake, and I'll put it in Tupperware, and it'll last me several days. So I cut, whatever I cut up will last 3 or 4 days. I keep that in the fridge, and then when I run out, I cut up new vegetables. That way I can make this really fast. So finally, I would say, oh, and by the way, the protein powder will sweeten it up, but really try to buy a high-quality, clean protein powder. A lot of the protein powder is not that good for you, and I would be careful what kind of protein powder you buy. Like there's whey, and there's all these different types. I would go with something, again, as clean as you can, like the collagen or the bone broth, and there's other alternatives. You can put almond milk into this if you want to. That'll sweeten it up, and it will also thicken it up. The point I wanted to make is with this yogurt, reality is there's perfect, and then there's what you'll do. And so it takes a little while for your body to get used to you doing a shake. Also, it might take you a little while to get used to the taste. Personally, I think with the yogurt, the blueberries, and the protein powder, it's sweet. I think it tastes really good. However, I don't know how you'll feel about it. So if at this moment, to get yourself to do this day in and day out and not dread it, you need more sweetness, then put the yogurt in it, put the blueberries in it. And I use a cup of blueberries. I use a lot of blueberries when I use blueberries, and put that in there and do it. If that's what it takes to get you to do it, great. Now you're at least consuming the equivalent of a big salad. And then in time, you can take the yogurt out of the mix. And then in time, if you go to something like a keto diet or just no sugar and really, really low carbs, and therefore you're cutting out blueberries, do that at that point, but ease into it. I mean, think of this as a change in lifestyle, not a short-term thing to get to an ideal weight. If you're changing a lifestyle, then you don't have to make every change in this instant. You can step into it. And then there isn't the pressure to say, okay, this isn't perfect, I need to be doing perfect, because generally when we try to go for perfect, we don't actually stick with it. I hope that helps.